There we go. Hey guys, it's me, Norble. Some of you might know me as Newbie, or the co-owner of Shady Corporation, due to a clause saying that this guy is the owner. Or... never mind, there's actually nothing else. I might be a man of many faces, but not a man of many names. Anywho, today I've decided to do a ranking of the entirety of Shady Corp. My method? Spoon-feeding violent democracy right into your mouth. You heard me here, folks. I'm doing a tier list maker. Alright, here's our tier list. I'm going to introduce them by pairs. Then, after that, I'll start with the ranking. Alright, so first up we have Proman. Proman is a veteran recruiter who will stop at nothing to trap people in his basement filled with 17 wolves that he definitely has. Next, representing the entirety of Canada, is PLT. Master of Deception, PLT looks like he's an ordinary US citizen until provoked, where he'll go totally Maple Leaf till you're convinced he's from Canada. Next up, we have the Evils. This scare pair is headed by Stare, a guy with two eyes so big you'd think he's gone awooga. With him is Paranoia, a soul whose sole purpose is to make you think you're either a schizophrenic or that you've got a lot of people in your walls. Following them are the Enigma, the ever-changing. Starring Zodiac in her berserk second personality, Brimstone, they have come from retconning hell to beat the crap out of those who thought the previous cast was better. Continuing the trend of, this is the same person, what the hell, are those cast aside. A brilliant scientist at heart and a cold-blooded killer on the outside, Dr. Singh has invented time travel to bring his bloodlusted future self into this tier list. Next, the Stowaways. These are the guys who would actually be living in your walls. Kyle is an ordinary kid who literally cannot remember what he ate for breakfast. At his side is Desmond the raccoon. Desmond is a talkative raccoon who has no relationship to the raccoon from regular show, and he wants you to know that his favorite meal is raw liver. For our sixth batch of contestants, we have those of a distant past. Lost within the depths of writer's block, Cogworks was a once well-revered scientist who let all of his private tweets leak. Running rampant and not working with Cogworks whatsoever is Crate, a beastly humanoid entity that has a keyhole for an eye. They say that opening him up gives you a 1% chance of getting an unusual item. Next group is the Icor Corruption. Starting with Spook, a scientist corrupted by the influence of Icor, he has become a shell of his former self. His last words were, "Wanna see me touch this black goopy thingy?" Following him is Ink, the embodiment of the Icor corruption. He has absolutely no correlation to Venom whatsoever, and is waiting to DMCA the hell out of him. The survivors are a group with a knack for surviving. First is Phil, back from his second ban with the desire to prove that he would never swear in front of the Supreme Court. He will stop at nothing to get S+ tier. Next is Maxwell. Well known for their character design, Maxwell has a sixth sense for style, and he will use it to call you out for your fake J's. Next team is the Clip Comp. I'll be honest, these are just inside jokes, and I do not need to explain them. Moving on, we have the White People. With a long and dark history, this pair will stop at nothing to rule over those inferior to them. If you have a job that pays $15 an hour, you will be taken advantage of. Next, the Lore is stepping into the fray. Yes, the entirety of the Shady Corp canon is being ranked today, regardless of how poorly written and convoluted it is. With it are the big media people. You might be thinking, isn't it unfair that an entire media company is competing? And to that I say, yes. Yes it is. And finally, last but not least, we have the 12th group. Beginning with Pretzel, this delicious confection is overly hard and salty. This is not a euphemism for anything, I swear. And the final contestant is Jackrabbit. While you might think this is a joke, I intentionally put this abomination in here to braid it with insults until I can give it an instant F tier. I can guarantee that this thing will not be rated anything higher than that. As the tributes wait for their placement, an arena rises. As we kick off this tier list, Desmond takes a spear from inside the cornucopia. While I am uncertain of how Desmond plans on using it, I imagine he'll figure something out. Cogworks breaks Pretzel's nose for a basket of bread. I'd reckon that Pretzel feels a little salty about that one. Amongla runs away with a lighter and some rope.
Causing arson definitely won't hurt anybody. Nothing will go wrong. Kyle, PLT, Jackrabbit, and Crate share everything they gathered before running. This group will probably turn out to be problematic, considering it includes Jackrabbit and Kyle together. Stare repeatedly stabs Brothersing to death with sighs. It looks like curiosity killed the cat. And probably also Brothersing. Zodiac diverts Stare's attention and runs away. With eyes like those, I doubt it's difficult to distract him. Desmond and the big media people work together for a day. This is, frankly, terrible news. If the raccoon overlords start using big media to post raccoon propaganda, we might start seeing people dressed up as raccoons. Scary. Spook begins to question his sanity. Considering this is based within the Shady Corporation, yeah, this makes sense. Pretzel and Cogworks split up to search for resources. Maybe I was wrong. Guess the pretzel turns out to be sweet after all. I wonder if it's glazed. Dr. Singh discovers a river. Kyle sprains his ankle while running away from Crate. Welcome to the first F tier of the day. So far, the only person to do so poorly that they stopped being a contender for S tier was Brother Thing. Not only did he not do anything, but he left himself open to being stabbed by the guy with eyes larger than basketballs. And multiple times at that. Easy F tier. Moving into night 1. Maxwell screams for help.
Help!
Seems like the least ideal situation to stream in,
Help!
especially with threats like
Help
Crate and Stare
me!
being within the area.
Help!
Radiant Reef, Spook, and Desmond cheerfully sing songs together. I think that the songs that come out of this group might be a little more untoward than you'd think. Pretzel strangles Amungla after engaging in a fistfight. Maybe it isn't sweet after all. This pretzel really is an enigma. I'm not sure what to think of it. PLT, Crate, and big media people sleep in shifts. And here I thought that the media never slept. Phil, unfortunately, steps on a landmine. And here I thought being a survivalist depended on spatial awareness. Don Vorgel receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. After seeing Phil explode, the audience really wanted to see more. Come to think of it, white people really do like explosions. Dr. Singh stays awake all night. Accurate. Spook collects fruit from a tree. Pretzel also receives an explosion from an unknown sponsor. It looks like the chefs in the audience also wanted to see more boom and decided to market this pretzel with Flavor Explosion. Radiant Reef runs away from Jackrabbit. It's okay, Radiant Reef. I'm afraid too. Meanwhile, Cockworks is picking flowers. This is such a minus clout moment. Get your head in the game. Zodiac, Brimstone, Stare, and PLT all hunt for other tributes. This does not bode well for the rest of the contestants. Shady Corp Universe Lore also hunts for other tributes. It looks like more people are going to become victim to the retconning. And here we are, back to the F tier. Starting off with Amungla, he lost his breath after a singular fight. Usually it's the other way around, where Amungla takes out large groups through mass hysteria. Being killed by your own thing is just a disappointing display, and the irony does not help his case. F tier. And for Phil, he is a survivor. He's supposed to survive. Yet, he's managed to avoid that one stereotype and stepped on a landmine. Alright, moving past that into night 2. Maxwell, Jackrabbit, Shady Corp Universe Lore, and Brimstone tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. I would not be surprised if any of these ghost stories happen to be real. While on the other side of the arena, Spook and Pretzel talk about the tributes still alive. Now, what I find odd is that after all his murders, Pretzel is calmly talking to another contestant. Talk about psychotic. Zodiac catches Bloxburg mom off guard and kills her. We here at the Shady Corporation do not condone murder. However, I will make an exception for this case. PLT tries to sleep through the entire day. Sleeping on the job is not appreciated. Minus clout points, try better. Despite all this talking and sleeping, Crate and Paranoia both pick flowers. I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. Froman discovers a river. Cogworks begs Shady Corp Universe Lore to kill him. Shady Corp Universe Lore refuses, keeping Cogworks alive. Cogworks has just been spared from the wrath of the retcon. Radiant Reef poisons Jackrabbit's drink. He drinks it and dies. Honestly deserved. I can now rest easy knowing that Jackrabbit will never receive the S plus tier, because I'm not going to give it to him. Ever. Spook explores the arena. Considering the only noteworthy thing Spook has done so far is harvest fruit, he is most likely searching for more fruit-bearing trees. Desmond unfortunately dies from thirst. Considering multiple contestants have discovered rivers, I guess I don't have to worry about the raccoon overlords after all. Brimstone accidentally steps on a landmine. It looks like Brimstone met their explosive and fiery end. The audience has to be satisfied. We're moving into the third F tier, and boy is it a doozy. First, we have the average Bloxburg mom. Kind of a poor contestant overall. Bloxburg mom just kind of deserved to be in the F tier, due to not being notable at all. Next up, Jackrabbit. You already know who Jackrabbit is, and so you'll also know that Jackrabbit was always destined for F tier. No complaints here. On to Desmond. While he did infiltrate the big media people, he ended up dying from dehydration. Big media people are probably based in Nevada, and that was his mistake. Finally, we have Brimstone, a very promising contestant paired with a very strong partner. She was probably one of the more likely contestants to get S plus tier. Unfortunately, she landmined herself into F tier. Not a loss she deserved, but a death the audience craved. Radiant Reef, Zodiac, and Big Meaty People unsuccessfully ambush Stare, Spook, and Kyle, who kill them instead. While I'm sure that Radiant Reef, Zodiac, and Big Meaty People had a decent shot in this attempt, they forgot to account for the fact that Stare has killed countless people. Daring but naive. Spook collects fruit from a tree. This is the sequel to Spook Collects Fruit from a Tree 1, a title that brought in millions. Looks like Spook's exploration of the arena led to more fruits for his labor. Crate chases Pretzel. It looks like bakeries have been implementing speed doughing into their products. Proman shoots a poisonous dart into Cogworks' neck, slowly killing him. Proman saw that he wasn't being paid enough and decided that enough was enough. Maxwell steals from PLT while he isn't looking. Here's what actually happened. PLT tried to convince Maxwell that the supplies was there to benefit Canada. Maxwell, knowing that Canada is not a real country, steals from him anyways. You are now entering the fourth F tier. Starting off with the group of three, Radiant Reef, Zodiac, and Big Media People. While they were a valiant group, the naivety left them vulnerable to Stare. Unfortunately, that of course led them to their doom and an immediate placement into F tier. As for Cogworks, his death was an agonizing example of what happens when big corporations lay people off. F tier for poor financial decisions. Moving on to the next night, Crate tries to sing himself to sleep. He can try his best, but I don't think that Crate can vocalize. Or sleep, for that matter. Proman begs for Maxwell to kill him. Maxwell refuses, keeping Proman alive. Proman's conscience is weighing down on him. Luckily, Maxwell is no murderer, leaving Proman to contend for S plus tier. Spook collects yet another fruit. Spook Collects Fruit 2 was such a success that they made another sequel. Spoilers, but Spook's fruit became sentient and started a vlogging channel called Antagonizing Citrus. Shady Corporation lore defeats Stare in a fight, but spares his life. Shady Corporation lore realized that Stare was too important to it. It's like a grandfather paradox. If Stare dies, so does he. Welcome to the most uneventful F tier so far. I couldn't really pick and choose anybody to go into F tier this time, so it's blank. Congratulations! Immediately upon hearing that nobody was put into F tier, Shady Corporation Universe lore and Crate hold hands. It's sweet, but I'm not sure how it really works. Following this, Pretzel, Kyle, and Dr. Singh cheerfully sing songs together, as well as Proman, Stare, and Spook doing the same thing elsewhere. Guess everybody is in the mood for celebration. Unfortunately, the celebration might be cut short, as the audience gave PLT an explosive. Now, whether this is Canada's vengeance or just a really mad crowd, I can't tell you. I don't know. While everybody was out partying, Ink repeatedly stabs Paranoia to death with sighs. This reminds me of that one fellow named Jack. Pretzel tracks down and kills Spook. Pretzel has once again drawn blood, adding another violence point to their belt at the cost of Spook's life. Crate sets off an explosion, killing Stare, Don Vorgel, and Proman. While I'm not sure where he got the explosive, their ignorance of Crate's trap has sent them all to F tier. Speaking of F tier, you know what time it is. Hello, tier list enthusiasts. Welcome back to the F tier review. Today, we've got 5 contestants with us. Starting off with Paranoia. Paranoia was stabbed so many times, the body was unrecognizable. Next, we have Spook, Stare, and Don Vorgel. While Stare was a master of mass murder, Don Vorgel helped invent explosives, and Promed killed Cogworks, they all ignored Crate's trap, probably after they noticed it and then laughed at it, before being blown up. Finally, we have Spook, who, after collecting dozens of fruit, left behind a trail of seeds allowing Pretzel to track down and kill him. The fruits of his labor turned rotten. Anyways, all these contestants are ignorant, and that's just a really unfavorable trait. F tier, all of them. Moving over into the next night, Pretzel lets Ink into his shelter. Looks like Pretzel's goal is to lure in the Ichor before killing it for good. TLT cries himself to sleep. The experiments. The isolation rooms are replenished with food, supplies, and weapons. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here, nothing interesting actually happened, so I'll just skip to the next good part. Maxwell kills Ink with a sickle. I take back what I said about Maxwell earlier. Maxwell has joined up with Crate, Dr. Singh, and Kyle to hunt down other contestants. Moving into a pretty quick F tier, we're talking about Ink. Ink has been a pretty notable player this game. While he has recently killed Paranoia and gained a violence point from it, I think that Ink is just taking his whole corrupt the world thing too far. A plus for ambition, but F for execution. Night 7. Crate dies from hypothermia. Unfortunately, Crate forgot he was made out of inanimate objects and decided that the cold was too much for him. PLT sets off an explosion, killing Shady Corp Universe Lore, Pretzel, and Dr. Singh. That's 1 for the Canadian government and 0 for the non-believers. Moving into day 8, PLT bashes Kyle's head in with a mace. PLT, not satisfied with his triple kill that he just gained, decides to take his anger out on Kyle, giving him a monster kill. Now it's just PLT and Maxwell, who's... oh. Welcome back to the last F tier. Let me just take a look at my notes real quick. This was kind of a fast one. Ignorance, naivety, yada yada, F tier, all of them. Alright, and we finally arrived to the S plus tier. I'm sure that our top contender needs no introduction, but just in case he does, I'll introduce him. You know him, you love him, he's the icon of the Shady Corporation and the Canadian Conspirator. It's PLT! Ooh, yeah! Huge round of applause for PLT, who's gone through the thick and thin of my judging to be found the best out of any other Shady Corporation member and or related content. Good job, PLT, you deserve it. Now that that is over with, I believe it's time for some honorable mentions. First up, we have Stare. As I've mentioned before, Stare is known for his war crimes in both the Vietnam and Afghan War, leading him to be a brutal and psychotic murderer. And this proves to be true, as he ties with PLT for violence points. Unfortunately, violence points do not equal ranking points. Sorry, Stare, you're staying in F tier. The next 3, who I will group together, are Kyle, Crate, and Spook. Starting with Spook and Kyle, both of them share their credit with Stare after defending themselves from Zodiac Radiant Reef and Average Bloxburg Mom. While they might be great at self-defense situations, they still met their fates to other contestants. Crate, on the other hand, was able to secure all his kills by himself. Among those kills was Stare, meaning he effectively killed a criminal. Besides that, though, he died to hypothermia, which is really an unfortunate death for him, seeing as he is just a sentient pile of crates.
Well, I hope this solves all your primal desires to feed on clout. Oh, and to the 2 people that care. I am still working on both my writing and animation projects. Here, take a look at Volume 3 of Stare and Paranoia Adventures, featuring Crate. Ooh, it's so cool and it'll solve all your anxiety and ADHD problems, I promise. Also, here's a sneak peek at an animation I'm working on.
Oh, looks like the mailman came early. Let's take a look. Nope. Boring. Oh, a letter from the IRS. I hope they've sent me this for how good I've been. This can't be real.
The IRS would never tell me how much I owe. The only explanation is that this is a sham.
I'm out of here.
It's cool, right? Yeah. Well, that's all I have to show for today. See you later.